You had every reason not to hear me. It's my bad. Thank you for letting me know. Studio setup is a bit of a struggle today, but I think we're locked in. I'm feeling good about it. All right. All right. Thank you. We are back in business. We are doing Chiefs won't win a playoff game. I think the Chiefs could have a downfall. I think the Chiefs could look a lot like last year's Eagles. I think that's very possible. Chance, can you hear me now? There it is. We're locked in. We're dialed in. Oh, loved it. Love it. Yeah, we're back in business. Audio good now, says John. All right. All right, great. Good. We lost everyone that was going to do it. Green Bay's going to hit their groove. Yeah, so I like Green Bay. They're a good team. Chase under 75 and a half. Yeah, we hit that. We hit that. If people tell it in the Instagram story, we smacked that play. 2 units to win 6. That was beautiful. Yeah, so we had the Chase under. We had the McConkey over. That smacked last night. Shout out to everyone who got on that. If you want all the plays every day, just shoot me a DM. Shoot me a DM and I got you. I'm going to share the play for Monday Night Football shortly. Go Bills. Yes, sir. Bills Lions Super Bowl. I mean, that really looks like the best thing. So obviously the Bills got smacked by the Ravens, but the Ravens lost to the Chiefs and the Bills beat the Chiefs. The Bills Ravens game was a really bad game by the Bills. It was their worst play. The Bills also lost to the Texans. That was a bad one. I think the Bills are the best team in the AFC. I think so. What I was saying about the Packers is the Jordan Love is making a lot of mistakes, and it's not shocking. Is like his second year as a starter. It's not shocking he does that. You know, a guy that can make big plays, can take big risks, ends up making more mistakes. But yeah, record from yesterday, Nelsito, 2-2, 3-2, 3-3, 4-3 on mains, but we had a bad day on props. Got a lot of hooks on props, but we were up on our mains. Um, Missed the Bengals money line. Unfortunately, we hit the Broncos. We hit. If you tailed my Twitter, I showed you all my slips, all the straight action I took, and ended up going up big on that. But in terms of the plays that we gave out on so, but I believe it was 4-3 on the mains. Texans -5.5 tonight. What are you paying for -5.5? That's a significant alt line. Significant alt line. So anyway, back to my point about the Packers. I know the Instagram, you can't see it right now. I posted it on Instagram, but I'm looking at the NFL power rankings right now. Dylan, I'll drop the play shortly, but here's what I have for the power rankings for those who can't see my screen. It is Super Bowl contenders, Lions, Bills, Ravens, Chiefs. Almost contenders, Steelers, Eagles, Packers, Chargers. Should be contenders record-wise, Vikings, Commanders. Scrolling down here, would love to see them in the playoffs. 49ers, Broncos, Cardinals, Falcons, Seahawks, Rams, Bucks. Bucks assume they won't be in the playoffs, but Super Bowl talent is the Bengals. And then I forgot about them, but probably win one playoff game is the Texans. And then my WTF rankings are the Colts and the Dolphins. And my LMAO rankings are the Jets. Bobby Price says the Chiefs are still number one. I don't think it's crazy, but the Chiefs were not a scary 9-0. They were as unimpressive as 9-0 can be. And then the Bills beat them by 2 scores. Bills Chiefs has been 1 score every game for like the last 7 games they played each other. This is the first 2-score dub for the Bills. So yeah, I'll tell you why I'll tell you what I like about each team and my concerns about each team. In the Lions, I really don't have a lot of concerns. My biggest one would be that Jared Goff he's good, but he's probably the worst QB of the top 5 teams or of the top 4 teams. I'm taking Allen, Lamar, and Mahomes over Goff a million times over. So that's probably my biggest concern with Goff or with the Lions, but I have very low concerns. Their defense is playing solid, and their offense is absolutely ripping. Bills choke playoff time every year, says Brian. That's such a stupid thing to say. They choke every time. Everyone loses in the playoffs except one team. So say they choke in the playoffs every team. The only team that hasn't choked in the playoffs is the Chiefs that went back to back. And that's crazy. That doesn't happen almost ever. They're like the third team to ever go back to back. So every team chokes in the playoffs until they don't. That's just how it goes. It would be one thing if the Bills went and lost the first round of the playoffs every year. You could say they choke in the playoffs, but they don't. Josh Allen has a winning playoff record. The Bills have a winning playoff record under McDermott. Too much offensive power. So yeah, very very few concerns about the Lions. The Bills. Very low concerns as well. Their defense a little bit, but it's getting better and they're getting healthier. When they got smacked around by Baltimore, they were really banged up. Bernard's been playing great. Benford's been playing great. Teron Johnson's been playing great. Milano, if Milano comes back at even 85 or 90% of who he was pre-injuries, oh my God, their defense will be very solid. Right? When will the casuals learn? So Ryder's obviously a Chiefs fan here. Chiefs will not win when it counts this year. Yeah, I don't think the Chiefs win this year. We're always going to respect the Chiefs as legitimate contenders. Obviously, they have the best record in the NFL. They've won the last 2 years, but this is Mahomes' worst season as a starter. It is. Could he step it up in the playoffs like he did last year? Certainly, of course, it's possible. That's why I have them as Super Bowl contenders. They're 9-1. They're contending for that 1 seed. But yeah, um, the Lions not missing a step when Aiden Hutchinson, who is my pick for Defensive Player of the Year and who is leading the rankings as Defensive Player of the Year, is crazy. Burglar, I got three. I got my Pick 'em Petey with 2 Ys. That's where I do my like viral stories. I've got Return to Pick 'em Petey where I do my daily plays, and then I got this where I do my streams because I just can't risk losing another account. But follow this account. Go ahead and follow this account. If we get 30 follows, I'll drop a free play. I need to get to 1K on this account just so I can share my links with you guys and you can get all the stuff that I'm talking about daily, that I'm posting about daily on here. But if you're here for the live streams, I post them here every single day, or I do them here every single day. Appreciate the follow, Hamburger. Um, yeah, just because I don't want to risk losing another account, and sometimes TikTok cracks down on live streaming accounts. Their RB duo is deadly. Yeah, the run game is just so crazy good. They're such a disgusting offense. And now they're tied for first place in the NFL record wise because the Chiefs got a loss. How are the Ravens still Super Bowl contenders? How would they not be? I know they've had a couple losses that were bad. Lamar had a bad game, but they've had some incredible performances, and yeah, they're obviously Super Bowl contenders. Lamar is a top 3 contender for the MVP slot. They've got Derrick Henry. They've got a nasty defense. They're obvious Super Bowl contenders. No Niners. Mike, the Niners are plus 200 to make the playoffs right now. They're 5-5. Bosa's injured. McCaffrey's back, and they still just 1-1 since he's back. Nothing's wrong with the Steelers. Like I'm listing concerns. These are obviously teams that are very good. The Steelers, I don't know that they have the offensive explosiveness to get through 3 AFC teams. Now they are theoretically contenders for the 1 seed, and therefore only having to go through 2 AFC teams. But um, my biggest concern with the Steelers is they don't have the offensive firepower to get through Allen, Lamar, and Mahomes. They obviously got past Lamar, so they can do it. But to get through 3 of those is kind of crazy. No Niners yet. I think the Niners to make the playoffs at plus 200 isn't a terrible play. So what I have them down here as would love to see them in the playoffs. That's the tier beyond Vikings and Commanders. It's a the reply to that. I do some NHL, but mostly NFL, NBA right now. If you get on SoBet, shoot me a DM here or on Instagram, and I'll get you on the SoBet. I post my plays there every single day. You also get access to everyone what they're posting on there as well, so you can filter by sport, including NHL. Yeah, so anyway, concerns with the Lions are basically none. If I had to list a concern, it would be that Goff's the worst QB of the elite teams. Um, my concerns with the Bills are the defense, but it's a light concern. It's a really good team. My concern with the Ravens is inconsistency and struggle against familiar opponents and Lamar's historic playoff performance. Nikki G, what up? My concern with the Chiefs is just kind of a lethargic skating by, barely getting a lot of these wins. Mahomes having a down season. Seahawks are in the next year as well. Why would the Chiefs be number one? They just got smacked around by the Bills. They've barely beat the Broncos. They've barely been winning a lot of these games. Um, then my concerns with the Steelers is offensive firepower to get through the scoring ability of all these other top teams: the Bills, the Ravens, the Lions, the Chiefs. Concerns with the Eagles is coaching, mainly coaching, and I don't believe in Hurts to be able to take over a game. My concern with the Packers is Jordan Love's turnovers in decision making goes there. Um, Chiefs are unstoppable in playoffs. It seems like. I mean, obviously the last times. This is. I posted this on Twitter last night, Connor. Bills barely won. If it weren't for that last rush by Allen, Chiefs win that. Yeah, if it weren't for the Bills winning by 2 scores, the Chiefs would have won. They lost by 2 scores. That's a thumping. I'm not saying the game wasn't close for the majority, but they did get smacked. What do I think about Mechie over 13.5 receiving time? Those low numbers are really crapshoots. I kind of like it, but yeah. Um, yeah, Kool-Aid. Yeah, that's true. The Bills have a bye, and you guys have basically a bye. Ravens above the Steelers is after dub is great. I mean, if we're gonna go by win, then we have to shuffle the whole top 3 because the Bills beat the Chiefs, but the Chiefs beat the Ravens, but the Ravens beat the Bills. So what are we going to do? That's why the 2 through 4 have all beaten each other. Cardinals are in that 11 spot, which is will be interesting in the playoffs. Yeah. And I love the decision. Go for it on 4th and 2. I believe in that. The Bills kick that field goal. One, the Bills kicker is very, very inconsistent. They miss a field goal, they're going to lose. They make the field goal, they're up 5. The Chiefs have 2:20 and a timeout to get a touchdown. That game's wide open. So, yeah. I wouldn't have had the Chiefs at 1 going into this. The Chiefs were 2 going into this game. Cody, it's not rage bait to have people commenting is what people who don't know ball say. People that are really in there understand that this is a high quality ranking. The Lions have been better than the Chiefs. Everyone has the Lions at number 1. Anyone who's been watching the NFL has had the Lions at number 1 prior to this win. The Bills leaping past the Chiefs from 3-2 after beating them, being a half game back on them and beating them is crazy. Steelers over Ravens. Yes, Steelers have beat the Ravens, but the Ravens beat the Chiefs, but the Chiefs beat the Bills, but the Bills beat the Chiefs. So we can't just say if you beat a team, you're ahead of them. If you beat a team, you're ahead of them, then everything, it doesn't make sense. Teams beat each other. It's not perfectly transitive. Record is not the number one factor. I'm talking about the most dangerous team. I'm talking about the most dangerous teams. Not necessarily the most impressive so far, the most dangerous teams based on what we've seen from them this year. Cardinals is 11. What makes Ravens more dangerous? Offensive firepower, their run game, their run defense. Because here's an interesting thing. The Lions have one of the best run offenses, period. Yeah, Texans probably win, but I don't know about 7.5. Steelers shut that shit down. Yeah, Steelers have an elite defense, and they do well against divisional contenders. Only one NFC team in the Super Bowl contenders. Yeah, that's why Lions are number 1. So the Ravens have the best run D in the game. If anyone could stop the Lions' run game, it's probably the Ravens. I think the Ravens are the best in the AFC capable of beating the Lions. And I think it's the Bills, and I think it's the Chiefs. Not having Texans top 10. Who are the Texans ahead of? The Commanders? Who are the Texans ahead of? Genuinely. Almost contenders just beat Super Bowl contenders. Yep. The Steelers, you have to understand, head to head does not mean. I doubt undefeated rest of the year. They play the Bills. Do they play the Niners? I'm not sure, but yeah. Most dangerous Lions, Ravens, yeah. So some teams are better prepared to beat other teams. The Steelers are better prepared to beat the Ravens than a lot of teams, but the Steelers would get thumped by the Bills and the Lions and probably lose to the Chiefs. Just say I like the Ravens. I'm not a Ravens fan. I didn't have money on the Ravens. I actually hit a 3-leg parlay. It was Steelers plus 3.5. It was Colts money line, and it was the Lions minus 13.5. Fact, Rexio. So a lot of Ravens hate. I'm just being real. I'm a Bills fan. The Bills got rocked by the Ravens. So if you see the second page of this, so here's who I have in the tier beyond this 10. I have Niners, Broncos, Cardinals, Falcons, Seahawks, Rams, Bucks. And then I forgot about the Texans, which should be around 11. And then the Bengals, I think, are a very talented team, but they're 4-7. They're not going to the playoffs. Their defense is just so trash. Imagine losing to the Ravens. Yeah, 7 teams did it. Do you think Niners make playoffs? They're going to need to win. Their head-to-head situation sucks. They're 5-5. Their head-to-head situation sucks. They're plus 200 to make the playoffs right now. They have McCaffrey back, but Bosa's out. If Bosa comes back, maybe. I definitely don't think their season's over, but it's a tough one. We're going to drop some Monday Night Footballs. Don't you worry. Shoot me a DM and I'll get you on there. What about fixed Steelers better than Chiefs and Ravens? Vikings beat the Packers in Green Bay. Yeah, the Vikings aren't better than the Packers. The Packers have a higher ceiling but more variance. Steelers going 13-4. Falcons' first round exit is probably accurate loaded up, but if they don't figure it out, they won't even be in the playoffs. They're 6-5 right now, I believe. Eagles are Super Bowl contender. I mean, when I say almost contender, I don't mean that they have no shot. I'm saying they're going to have a really difficult time getting through their division to the Super Bowl. The Eagles, I think, would lose badly to the Lions, but the NFC as a whole is not that much of a gauntlet for the playoffs. So presumably the Lions are running away with it right now. Presumably, hell yeah, Rexia. Presumably, how are the Bills over the Chiefs? They're a half game back on them, and they just beat them by 9. The Bills are 9-2. The Chiefs are 9-1. I don't know why it's shocking at all to see the Bills over the Chiefs the day after they beat them by 9. Um, Steelers are built to beat Ravens. I agree, and the Bills are more built to beat the Chiefs than they are the Ravens. So if the Bills played the Chiefs, um, like just because I have a team higher than another team doesn't mean that head to head that necessarily makes sense. I took the Steelers yesterday. The NFC can be randomly tough, so it'll be interesting to see how people finish. Because if the Niners make the playoffs, which they got 7 games, they probably need to go 5-2, maybe 6-1, which would be really tough. And they play the Bills. I don't know who else is on their schedule, but they have at least the Bills. I can pull that up. We can go look at Niners schedule right now. Okay, so the 49ers play the Packers, which is a tough team, the Bills, the Bears are not easy, the Rams are not easy, the Dolphins, and then the Lions, and then the Cardinals. So they have a really tough schedule for the rest of the way. I think the Niners are really going to struggle to make the playoffs. Um, Even if they beat the Packers, they lose to the Bills, they beat the Bears, they beat the Rams, they beat the Dolphins, they lose to the Lions, and they beat the Cardinals. That puts them at 10-7, and that has them beating the Cardinals and the Rams and the Packers and the Bears. I think they could easily go 4-3. They're 9-8. They're out. So I don't think they make the playoffs, but it's not over. They're capable of beating whoever. They could get it done, but it's going to be really tough. They also play the Lions late enough in the season where they could be playing against the Lions backups. Um, not doing fantasy right now. If you got questions on any of that, you can shoot me a DM. If you want all the picks every single day, you can shoot me a DM. We got all that. Chargers aren't like that. You rather have Cardinals over them. I mean, Chargers beat the Cardinals um, in a pretty ugly game by the Chargers. The Cardinals are in the tier right after that, Logan. They're an interesting playoff team. Only let Boswell score. So, all right. So, I think the Bills are going to be a better team to beat most of the AFC, but they're not well stacked against the Ravens. They are well positioned against the Chiefs. They're well positioned against the Steelers. They're well positioned against the Chargers. They're not well positioned against the Ravens. Um, but also the 4-0 in the regular season, the 0-3 in the playoffs. Neither of those mean that much. It's a fact. That's a fact. Shoot me a DM if you want the VIP. Um, Explain how, Jake. So the Bills run game being established is very important for the Bills to be able to effectively pass the ball, and the Ravens' run defense is really strong against the Bills. The Ravens have depth. They don't have like standout defenders in the pass game, but they have depth, which is kind of matches up well against the Bills' passing attack. They spy QBs well, so that minimizes Allen's ability to run, which is a huge factor. And then the Bills' run defense is a bit of a weakness, and the Ravens' run game is really, really strong, so they don't match up super well. Um, that's my reasoning behind that. I think the Ravens match up really well against the Lions, if anyone's going to match up well. Everyone asking, how are the Ravens above the Steelers? You can be above a team you beat. I'll say this one more time. The Bills beat the Chiefs beat the Ravens beat the Bills. So there's no perfect way to just say if you beat a team, you're ahead of that team. Because then the Chiefs would need to be ahead of the Ravens, but the Ravens would need to be ahead of the Bills, but the Bills would need to be ahead of the Chiefs. That's not possible. Um, the Vikings have a low ceiling. Darnold has fallen off. He's just not that great. Their defense will keep them in just about any game, but I don't really see nearly as high a ceiling for Darnold. The Packers have a higher ceiling, but they're more mistake prone. That's just the Jordan Love experience. Steelers just beat the Ravens. Yeah, no, I bet on the Steelers. I know. Darnold played better than Love this week. Yeah, this week. That's correct. Um, Jaden Daniels still looks solid, but not quite as good as he began the season. And their defense isn't good enough to really take them there. Austin, I said for Jordan Love, I said that Jordan Love's downside is him turning the ball over. Chargers Chargers, I don't think they have the weapons offensively to get through the offenses of the AFC. So I think the Chargers are a good playoff team, but for them to go through, they're not in contention for the 1 seed. So they're going to have to beat 3 AFC teams. I don't see them beating the offense of the Ravens, the Bills, and the Chiefs, if that's who it ends up being, something like that. That's just 3 teams to get really tough through. They could beat the Steelers. They could definitely lose them. No, I don't think you understand what a ceiling is. A ceiling is what teams are capable of, not their baseline. Mikey Duff, what up? Love the Eagles being underdogs again. I don't think being ranked 6th in the NFL when you have 3 losses or 2 losses an underdog story. There are 2 games where Love had more TD than Darnold. Only 2 games where Darnold had more. That's such a random stat. We got so many we got so many people in here that are so mad. Steelers showed how to beat the Ravens. Yeah. There's not an undefeated team in the NFL right now. So theoretically, everyone showed how to beat one of the teams. Lions Bills. Lions Bills is plus 1100 for it to be a Lions Bills Super Bowl. So the Bills are still a half game back on the Chiefs. So they'll have tiebreaker, but they're a half game back. Presumably, so the Bills are on bye and the Chiefs play the Panthers. So the Bills will be a game back on the Chiefs after this. And when I say almost contenders, I basically mean second tier contenders. But if you want to come, they're underdogs to win the Super Bowl. Yeah, everyone's an underdog to win the Super Bowl pretty much. Broncos. Broncos are right in the next tier of will be interesting if they can make it to the playoffs. You guys, if one more, I'm open to hearing. I'm open to hearing anyone disagrees on why this team, the Giants, are so far below this that you'd have to get a shovel. Um, Justin Herbert, good to see you, brother. Switch Vikings and Chargers. It's pretty close. Um, so Jordan Love he's come back from injuries. He's been out for games. I think that he has more potential to put up real points. I think Darnold has a higher baseline and a lower ceiling. I think Jordan Love higher variance, higher ceiling. Um, no, the Ravens defense won't hold come playoffs is kind of dumb because the playoffs is running season and they have the best run defense out there. Eagles over Bills and Ravens. No. Still leads the league in interceptions. I don't think you understand what variance and ceiling means. Guys, real quick, go ahead and follow this account. This is where I do the daily streams. Follow this account. I will post a free play in a little bit. If you shoot me a DM, I'll get you on Sobet to get all my plays. If you shoot me a DM on Instagram right now, I'll send you the discount link to hop on Sobet, get all my plays shortly. Yeah. I'm not making excuses for Packers. Cardinals are right after. I'm just saying the Packers have a higher ceiling and ability to make more of an ability to make a run than the Vikings or the Commanders. Um, the Niners, the Niners are struggling. The Niners are in the tier right after this, where it is. Would love to see them in the playoffs. That's the tier. Switch Chiefs against any top team. That's just inaccurate. Yeah, I need someone that's not a Ravens or Steelers or Chiefs fan to make comments. Not Broncos. Say Broncos. Um, I think some people are misunderstanding. When I say almost contenders, I mean that they're borderline a Super Bowl team. In an order of 5 to 8. I mean, that means the Steelers are closer than the Eagles, than the Packers, and the Chargers. Cowboys best team. Okay. Seahawks are borderline have a shot at playoffs. I have the Seahawks at 15. Hell yeah, Kid Lou. Yeah, I got a bunch of accounts. That's the reason why. But again, if you shoot me a DM on Instagram, I'll get you the link to get all my plays every single day. I'm dropping the free play for Monday Night Football shortly. Cardinals leading the NFC West for a reason. Yeah, Cardinals are teams that I would love to see in the playoffs. They're right there. I could see them winning a playoff game. I don't think that their defense is good enough for them to make a real run, but I think they're a playoff team. Kidlu, appreciate the follow. Run these fouls up. Run these fouls up. If we get 30 fouls real quick before I get out of here, I'll drop the free play right here. Get these fouls because once we get to 1K, I can share all the links and get you guys my plays daily. Eagles not Super Bowl contenders. When I say almost contenders, I need you to understand. I mean that they are borderline, have a chance at making the Super Bowl. I don't mean that they, no hope for them. I'm saying they're borderline. Seahawks proved when healthy. They beat Falcons. 49ers, their top team when healthy. I mean, the 49ers and the Falcons aren't top 10 teams this season. Steelers own Lamar. Come on. Yeah, the Steelers do own Lamar, but the Steelers would be worse against the Chiefs or the Bills or the Lions than the Ravens. No Lions. Lions are at the top. What are we talking about? Commies win a playoff game. I would have them if they get a good matchup. Yeah, I think that their over under playoff wins is 0.5 and it's like even money. If you don't think the Ravens are still Super Bowl contenders, you have not been watching the NFL this season. I'm not a Ravens fan. But if you don't think that the Ravens, even after yesterday, Chance Grier gets it. If you don't think the Ravens are legitimate Super Bowl contenders at this point in the season, you do not know ball. Point blank, period. You could not like them. You could think the Steelers are better. You could think that the Lamar's going to choke in the playoffs. You could say whatever. But if you don't think that the Ravens are legitimate Super Bowl contenders, you have no idea what's going on in the NFL this year. That's a fact. Point blank, period. Say, you don't know about what? Because I didn't rank your team high enough? Aw, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't put enough respect on Sam Darnold's cupcake schedule. Broncos going 10-5. What are they doing the rest of the season? That's a fact, Rexy. I appreciate you. Put more respect on the Giants. We'll see if Tommy Cutlets can do something. Thoughts on Patriots rebuild and Drake May? Patriots might. I think Drake May has potential. Patriots could be a good team in a couple years. So the Chiefs are kind of fucked, right? Or not the Chiefs. The Jets are fucked. Aaron Rodgers is probably done after this season. Maybe he goes one more, but he's looked terrible. The Bills have been great, and the Dolphins are all over the place. So not only are they going to get a good draft pick, get him offensive line, get him some receivers? They have a decent defense. They've definitely got an opportunity at QB for Drake May to become very good, and they're in a division that I don't see them getting past the Bills, but they're in a position where they could be a wild card team in a year or two. We got a lot to figure out still with Drake May. It's early on in his career, but he's definitely shown potential. Every game the Broncos get better. Yeah, Drake. Bo Nix has been really impressive. And their defense has been really strong, and Sean Payton has been way, way, way better than last year. So the Broncos are a very interesting team to keep an eye on moving forward. Bengals fan, you're going Lions or Vikes? Dolphins win out. That's just not happening. They got the Bills again. Yeah, the Steelers did own the Ravens yesterday. Took out the whole NFC South. Who's in there? It's matchup oriented, Luke. So the Steelers match up really well with the Ravens. They game plan really well for the Ravens. They do well with familiarity. Um, look at the Bills and the Steelers in the playoffs last year. The Bills thumped the Steelers, and I know it's a different team. I get that, but they thumped them. The Chiefs have always been solid against the Steelers. Completely different team. I wouldn't say completely different. Niners winning out. They got a tough schedule. They got the Lions. They got the Bills. Cardinals are in the tier right after this. I see them as a playoff, maybe one-win team. Yeah, Dolphins don't have Bills again. That's right. A lot of people disagreeing with the Ravens. I got to tell you guys, it's a real good team. Niners getting karma for Aiyuk. No, I wasn't, Lex. Nick, appreciate the follow. Eagles better than the Chiefs. Could be. Steelers just beat the Ravens. Yeah, and the Bills beat the Chiefs, who beat the Ravens, who beat the Bills. I wouldn't say obvious. Cooper Rush, Bucks win out. Doubt it, but I would love to see them make a run. Manuel, appreciate the follow. Mike, appreciate the follow. Run these files up. I'm going to drop the free play. I'm going to drop the free play in my free Telegram. I'm going to drop it on Sub, and I'm going to drop it everywhere. If you want access to any of these, check my links on any of the platforms I'm on. Shoot me a DM here. Shoot me a DM on Instagram. It's Pick'empedia on Instagram. All that stuff. I'm going to hop off right now. I got to run, but check out all that stuff. And again, if you want all the plays every single day, shoot me a DM. I post my clips here. I do my live streams here. Follow this account if you want to be in my daily live stream where I talk through the plays and all of that. This is where I stream daily. Follow this account once we get to 1K. I can link all the stuff I'm talking about so you can get my free plays daily and all that stuff as well. But yeah. Yeah, all right. That game's not a great reference. Brian, appreciate the follow. Steelers better than the Ravens? I mean, they were yesterday. I just don't think they're better in general. They're just better against each other. It's a better heads-up matchup. Lions fan here. Chargers definitely do not look like contenders. I think they're on the borderline of almost contenders. But yeah, I don't see them making the Super Bowl. The AFC's a gauntlet. Broncos over Commanders. That's kind of valid. The last few weeks, yeah. All right, Luke. Tulane making the playoffs, borderline, but I feel like they'll fall off. Chargers chance. Yeah, Buckets, you're right. Dallas money line. I don't know about that. All right. Yeah, I'll be looking for the Monday Night Football play. I'll be dropping it on YouTube first. And I'll post it everywhere. I'll share it in the Telegram. I'll post it on Twitter. I'll post it on. I'll maybe post it on Instagram. All that stuff. Get involved if you want all the plays every single day. Shoot me a DM here or on Instagram, and I'll talk to you soon. Love all you guys except for the ones I hate. Follow this account for the daily stream. Cheers.